Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Since it's a rainy Saturday, and I say that and the sun comes out, we're going to work on Kelly's garden fence. This roll of woven wire that's been our fence for a while is not cutting it. So let's go down to the shop and I'll show you what we've got going on. Okay, so the rough opening of the garden gate is 34 inches. And so I wanted to play around with some poplar I've had drying in the barn. This is some 8/4, actually it's a little bit thicker than 8/4 I believe when I started, so we planed it down. Going to make a frame from that. And then using some scrap that we had laying around, I decided to really try my welding artistic skills and come up with a gate. So let me show you. So there are several things that we have a boatload of here at Red Tool House. Some we inherited and some we brought in. The first that I've shown over multiple videos is all this 2-inch gas line, metal gas line, gas pipe that's been laying all over the property, all over the 100 acres from the heyday of the natural gas industry back in the early 1900s. So I have a ton of that. And then also I have these. These are actually political sign stakes. Back in my day of politics, I was heavily involved in politics, and I will promise you I will never, ever bring that to YouTube, to our channel. I don't even like to talk about it much. So, anywho, a lot of yard sign stakes you stick in the ground, slide your political sign over top of. So, I've got a boatload of these, barns full of them. There's probably 400 of them. And I've always wondered, what do I do with those other than just recycle them? So, with the gas pipe and with all those little metal stake pieces, I thought, well, let's try to see what we can do with our welder. So I came up with this design for Kelly's garden gate. So I recognize that's tough to illustrate without a solid color background. So let's do this. Let's lay it down here. So what I did is, here's our gas pipe. Just cut about 3/4 of an inch off of a section of gas pipe, and that makes up the center of the flower. And then everything else is made up with cutoffs of those political sign stakes. So I made some jigs. You know, this radius is based off the radius of this because I bent it around a piece of scrap pipe. Made a marking jig so I knew exactly where to tack my welds. Trying to stay at that 34 inches wide, or actually tried to stay at 30 inches wide. I wanted to be a little bit narrower, of course, to fit in the frame. And then once I got my flowers made, started building the frame around it. So again, pretty ugly. You real welders would look at that and cringe. Again, it doesn't even lay flat, so there's going to be some challenges when we go to put it in the frame. But I have to confess, I only had my stick welder to use. I couldn't use my MIG function, and that's a whole nother video. But it was kind of like doing woodworking with a chainsaw, so it had some complications there. So the plan is to take this poplar material and basically build a frame. Build a box around like it was a picture frame. We'll frame in that welding monstrosity, and that'll make up the body of our gate. And I have hinge and latch hardware and everything to put on there. We're not building a gate for strength so much as just keep the dog out and to discourage the deer. If the deer really wanted to get over it, of course, they would just jump over it. But we'll start working on some joinery here.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so as you see, we got it all assembled, got it dry fit with the welded monstrosity. Got our first coat of red paint. Obviously, you can't be red tool house without being red paint. Some of you may be wincing at the fact that I painted hardwood, but it's poplar and it's going to be outside, so I'm not that concerned about it. Now, if it was oak and it was going to be interior, no way. No way I'd paint it. But we're going to let this first coat dry, come back and do a second coat touch-up, and I think I'll grab some lunch. So in the magic of editing, we'll be right here next, putting on the second coat. All right, so I got my second coat on and it's almost dry. So I think we'll go ahead and start putting hardware on. Yeah, because I'm impatient and I can't stand here and watch paint dry. But I got some sexy gate hinges. Got this from a box store. And not the most ideal. Normally you'd want those kind of offset from the ends a little bit, but because of the very nature of this build, we're going to have to mount them at the top and the bottom. So not the ideal situation, but that's what'll work. Well, holy crap, it actually worked. So, well, so you saw there in that one clip, I had to make some fine adjustments to this post. It was a cat's whiskered this way too far. So using my large rear, I moved it over. So now, the reach, it's got a little bit of a release to it because of the just the tension on the hinges. It seems to work. Probably going to need a pull handle here because the tendency will want to be grabbing my welding frame here and pull it in, and I wouldn't trust my welding for nothing. All right, well, the boss isn't home to see it, so won't be able to get her reaction. She may not be home till after dark, so we may have to just imagine Kelly going, "Whoo, ah, hooray, Troy's the hero." So this will keep the dog at bay and obviously ups the sex appeal of Kelly's garden. All right, take care, everybody.